Hey everybody, welcome to the Writing Workshop KC Quarantine Edition. I am your host, poet Jen Harris, and I'm incredibly grateful that you are able to join me today. So thank you for being here. So a little bit about this workshop that you haven't already read in the instructions. This is going to be a trauma-informed workshop, meaning I am not a mental health professional. I'm in no way licensed or credentialed to serve in a professional mental health capacity. What I do have is an extensive training in peer support networks. And what that means is that I'm really good at building community, and I have a lot of information regarding mental health, just of my own accord, of my own trainings, of my own professional development that I would like to share with you. And you can decide whether or not those are useful to you and how to utilize them in your life, if at all. So I hope that you will continue to hang out with me over the course of the next 8 weeks and participate in the writing prompts. And also please start and end your surveys. So start them before you take the workshop because it asks you how you're feeling right now. And then finish it with the after portion at the end of the workshop so that we can assess exactly how you feel during this experience overall. And any insight you can provide as to what you did or did not enjoy, any content you like to see, anything like that, I'm absolutely open for. So please feel free to email that to me too. My information is in the PDF that's attached to this video. So check all of that out. And I want to thank our sponsor, Poetry for Personal Power, who utilizes the data that you send in your survey to develop peer support groups, to develop advocacy work, to help people utilize art as therapy. It's truly an incredible gift to be able to provide these workshops to you for free to you and to be grant funded by Poetry for Personal Power because they're out there making a tremendous impact on the world by defying a little bit of the Western ideology of what works and what doesn't. And we all know there are many ways to get healthy, be healthy. We all have our own individual techniques, and Poetry for Personal Power is trying to pool resources outside of the standardized Western medicine experience. Now, that does not mean that we do not support Western medicine. It does not mean that we do not support therapy or medication, anything like that. Whatever works for you is what's best for you. So with that in mind, I appreciate you being here. I look forward to the next 8 weeks with you, and let's jump right into prompt 1. So prompt 1 focuses around self-care. And before we get any more involved, take a look at this definition of self-care. The definition of self-care is the practice of taking action to preserve or improve one's own health and the practice of taking an active role in protecting one's own well-being and happiness, in particular during periods of stress. So when COVID-19 entered the United States and the CDC had to immediately kind of prepare themselves as an entity for all of the experiences that a human being might be having, one of the most pivotal and important at this point for me personally is their tab, their section on self-care, which is also linked in your PDF. And they advise you to do things like take breaks from watching or reading or listening to the news, and take breaks from social media because hearing about the pandemic repeatedly can be very upsetting. They encourage you to take care of your body. So we would like you to take some deep breaths or stretch or meditate. You want to try to eat healthy, well-balanced meals, exercise regularly, get plenty of sleep, and avoid drugs and alcohol. Now, let's be realistic. Not all of that can happen. Truly, you might not be able to do any of those things right now. You might be laying on the couch with candy bar wrappers at your feet. You just smoked a couple of cigarettes. Maybe there's some beer bottles in the recycling. It's just a suggestion on how, instead of coping and or suffering, to develop a practice of self-care to utilize when you are capable and able to do so. So these are not stringent guidelines. They're not anything that you need to be abiding religiously in order for them to be effective. They are tools, they are resources to help you. Other resources that they included are The notion of making time to unwind. You need to find other activities that you enjoy. What was it you were going to be spending your time doing when you finally got a vacation, or when you finally got an opportunity to be at home? Or if you're not at home right now, what is it you need to do to just take care of yourself today? It's incredibly important to ask yourself this question all the time, but very specifically right now. Another thing that's suggested by the CDC is that you talk to other people. And I personally have a very hard time talking to other people about my emotions. If I am presenting a poem or I'm talking to a group, I can specify in retrospect what I'm feeling. But as a person with a complex PTSD diagnosis, I recognize that my ability to numb out and not function, but rather just cope through traumatizing and stressful experiences, that's really my go-to, right? So talking with other people, connecting with other people, being honest about how you feel, while scary and intimidating, is incredibly important. So it's important for you to build community networks, like peer support networks, which is what you're doing here. You are reaching out and saying, I'm interested in what you are offering in your workshops, and I know that the focus is on mental health, and also I know there's a community involved. So if you want to participate in the community, you're more than welcome to. You can email me your work. You can let me know if you want me to post it online. I can add you to the Writing Workshop KC group so that you can communicate with other people who have taken these workshops, and it'll help you develop overall a sense of community that you can outreach to anytime that you need some connection with other people. So prompt 1 for this first week is that I want you to think of an activity you can do to exercise self-care. Think of an activity that you can do to exercise self-care. And then I want you to write about all the ways and the things that that activity makes you feel. Write about all the ways and all the things that that activity makes you feel. You're going to write for 10 minutes. Ready, set, write. Congratulations, you have written for 10 minutes today. I hope that you feel very proud of yourself because there is no greater feat than taking time for something you need to do, but definitely no greater challenge right now than just clearing your mind and being patient enough in this moment to just write. So congratulations, you're doing great, and let's jump right into prompt 2. So on the theme of self-care for week 1, let's talk about fear. So, being afraid and fearful is actually a really healthy response to dangerous or stressful situations, or we would not have evolved as a species. So, if you did not recognize that there was predator to prey, you might not have made it. So, I'm glad that you are here and that you've made it, and that on an evolutionary level, you are truly intact with instincts to some degree, including fight, flight, or freeze. So, in an instance of danger or fear, you might fight, you might stay there and face it down. You might flight, which is, I'm out of here. No thanks. This is way too much. And you might freeze, meaning you neither react nor not react. You're just kind of locked in the moment. And truly, none of those are the best way to respond. The goal would be to process through them. And that takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of self-awareness. It takes a lot of techniques and tools in order for you to just stand in the face of something and accept it as it is and move through the emotions in the process of getting through something. So your prompt 2 for week 1 is another act of self-care. And what I would like for you to do is I would like for you to make a list of all the things that you're afraid of now. Instead of being in fight, flight, or freeze mode, we're going to process. So I want you to make a list of all the things that you are afraid of right now and just get it out. Get it completely out of your system. So shine a light on them, which will often diffuse the darkness. And let's write for 10 minutes. Get all your fears out on the page. Ready, set, write. Congratulations. Welcome back. You have written for 20 minutes today, and I hope that you feel great. You always should when you are taking time to do something positive and beneficial for yourself. So great work. I'm super proud of you. And let's jump right into our final prompt for today, prompt 3. All right, so you have just written about all of your fears. So we are going to end today on a high note. And that high note is that your prompt 3 is that I want you to write about your happiest memory in your entire life. I want you to write about your happiest memory. Now, I know many of us have many happy memories that tie at number 1, right? I've got quite a few milestones in my life where I'm just like, oh, I wouldn't trade that experience for the world. I want you just to focus on 1 because I want you to be really specific in your writing about why it's one of your happiest memories, what you remember from the experience, the sensory, what you smelled, what you tasted, what you felt. Let's get all that down on paper. I want you to write for 10 minutes on the specificity of one of your happiest memories. Ready, set, write. All right, my friends, you have done it. You have written for 30 minutes today. I really, really appreciate you taking the time to participate in this experience with me. Thank you for trusting me with your truths. Please feel free to share them. You can check out the Writing Workshop KC Facebook group, which is private and only available to people who have taken workshops with me. So feel free to request to join that so you can connect with the community. If you'd like to send a selfie of you participating in this workshop, or you would like to send a sample of your writing, you're welcome to email that to me. Again, all the contact information is in the PDF. And thank you for being here today. I look forward to seeing you in week 2. Take care of yourselves and each other. And thank you to Poetry for Personal Power for sponsoring this workshop. Y'all have a great night, and I'll see you next time.